Welcome. Have you ever wondered about the darkest corners of the human mind? The chilling experiments that push the boundaries of ethics and morality? Well, get ready to face your fears as we dive into the haunting world of psychology experiments. In the annals of psychology, there exist experiments that are etched into the collective memory, not for their groundbreaking discoveries, but for their haunting ethical dilemmas and the indelible scars they left on those involved. These experiments, while aimed at unraveling the intricacies of the human mind, ventured into dark territories, pushing the boundaries of what is considered ethically acceptable in the pursuit of knowledge. In this exploration, we will journey through some of the scariest and most controversial psychology experiments, shedding light on the moral quagmires that have defined them. Certainly, let's delve into more detail about each of these controversial psychology experiments. Stanford Prison Experiment, 1971. Conducted by psychologist Philip Zimbardo, this study aimed to investigate how people's behaviors and attitudes could be affected by their roles in a simulated prison environment. College students were randomly assigned to be either guards or prisoners. However, the experiment had to be terminated after only 6 days out of a planned 2-week duration because the guards exhibited abusive and sadistic behavior toward the prisoners. The experiment raised serious ethical concerns due to the emotional and psychological harm inflicted on the participants. Milgram Experiment, 1961. Stanley Milgram's experiment explored the extent to which people would obey authority figures, even if it meant inflicting harm on others. Participants were asked to administer electric shocks to another person, an actor, when they answered questions incorrectly. The shocks were not real, but the actor pretended to be in severe pain. Despite this, many participants continued to administer shocks, even when they believed they were causing harm. This study raised ethical questions about the psychological distress and potential long-term effects on participants. Little Albert Experiment, 1920. John B. Watson and Rosalie Rayner conducted the Little Albert Experiment to study the concept of classical conditioning, specifically the development of fear responses. They conditioned a young boy, known as Little Albert, to fear white rats by pairing the rats with loud, frightening noises. The study has been criticized for several reasons, including the lack of informed consent from Little Albert's parents and the fact that they didn't attempt to reverse the conditioning, potentially leaving him with lasting psychological trauma. Harlow's Monkey Experiments, 1950s-1960s. Harry Harlow conducted a series of controversial experiments using rhesus monkeys to study the effects of maternal separation and social isolation. He removed infant monkeys from their mothers and placed them in isolation chambers, subjecting them to varying degrees of deprivation. The monkeys exhibited severe distress and psychological abnormalities. While the research contributed to our understanding of the importance of social bonding and maternal care, it was highly criticized for its cruelty and disregard for the well-being of the animals. Tuskegee Syphilis Study, 1932-1972. The Tuskegee Syphilis Study was not a traditional psychology experiment but a public health study conducted by the U.S. Public Health Service. African American men with syphilis were recruited and left untreated, even after the discovery of an effective treatment, penicillin. The study violated the principles of informed consent, as participants were not adequately informed of the risks, and it caused significant harm to the participants, including suffering, disability, and death. This study is a stark example of unethical medical research, particularly in its racial and social implications. Monster Study, 1939. The Monster Study, conducted by Wendell Johnson and Mary Tudor, aimed to investigate the development of stuttering in children. In this experiment, orphaned children were subjected to negative speech therapy to induce stuttering. The study has been heavily criticized for the psychological harm it caused to the children involved, as they were subjected to negative reinforcement and made to feel self-conscious about their speech, potentially causing lasting emotional trauma. These experiments, while contributing to our understanding of human behavior in some cases, have been widely criticized for their ethical shortcomings, including lack of informed consent, psychological harm to participants, and a disregard for their well-being. They continue to serve as important cautionary examples in the field of psychology and research ethics. As we conclude our journey through these eerie corridors of psychological research, we are left with a stark reminder of the importance of ethical considerations in the pursuit of knowledge. While these experiments may have unveiled certain facets of human behavior, they have also cast long shadows of doubt and remorse. They serve as cautionary tales, reminding us that the quest for understanding the human psyche should always be tempered with compassion, respect, and a steadfast commitment to the well-being and dignity of those who participate in the ever-evolving landscape of psychology. These experiments stand as stark reminders of the boundaries that should never be crossed in the name of science. Thanks. Don't forget to subscribe us for more mindful discoveries.